first and foremost, let me just congratulate you on what you have won for this film already. It won an People's Choice Award at TIFF for third place, I believe. And so I wanted to congratulate you on that and on the film in general, because it's beautifully and wonderfully done. But I really kind of just need to know how you go from children's programming with Blue's Clues to Mount Everest. I just need to know. I just need to know how that happens.
Oh, well, thank you for noticing. I directed 20 episodes of Blue's Clues, seasons 2 through 5. And it was a
Mm-hmm.
pretty fun show because it was a mixture of live action and animation. So it's quite technically demanding. And the
Mm-hmm.
funny thing making a documentary is like that too, because it's like it's quite like it's not just filmmaking, there's some other like technical considerations as well. And it was a fantastically fun and great learning experience. And I look back and I'm like, thank you, Blue's Clues, because otherwise I do not know how, it's tough, it's I think about that with Lakpa's story as well, because Lakpa's an incredible mountain climber, but it's really expensive to climb Mount Everest, and it's really difficult to get a movie career going, right? Especially when you're like a woman with no connections, and it's really tough to kind of get a career off the ground. And had it not been for getting that job going, I don't know how I could ever have honestly had the career that I have now.
What a wonderful journey that's been for you. Congratulations and snaps and claps for that. That sounds wonderful. I did, when you were talking about Mount Everest, I did want to ask you this question because it stuck out to me when I saw the film. Those scenes with that big silver ladder where it's across and then going up, how do you shoot something like that? Because is it a one-off? Do you do it numerous times? Like, I can't imagine she had to keep climbing over and up that ladder.
How the climbers have devised a system to get across is by lashing these ladders, and boy is it precarious and terrifying. But actually there are a lot of them. I mean, that climb takes like, you leave at 2 a.m. and you're lucky if you get in there before nightfall the following day, right? It's a giantly long climb to get through there, and there's actually a lot of ladders. So what was really rad, and I don't think it's been done before, was we trained the Sherpas, so Lakpa's own team. We gave them cameras and really trained them in what kind of shots we thought would be really good in the editing room and would be good in the movie. And he
Oh,
really empowered them and encouraged them to get their own points of view on things, and what do they see when they are up there on the mountain. And it's also something I'm really thrilled about with this one is that this is not a story about like Sherpas helping the Western tourists. The superstars in this movie are Sherpa. It's Lakpa and her like relatives. Basically, she's got a number
right.
of relatives who are helping, her Sherpas, because Sherpa is a word that means both a last name of the people, the Sherpa people. It's also the name for this group of
Everybody's last name is Sherpa. Yeah.
exactly. And it's also the kind of word that is used for like climbing guide. You talk about like a Sherpa is like the climbing guide who carries everything. And typically, the tragedy of history is that most often, history is focused on the Western guy, who summits and hasn't seen the Sherpa that's not only summiting with them, but often like carrying their stuff at the same time, right?
Mhm.
So it was really nice to sort of recenter that frame and put, Lakpa Sherpa herself as the superstar, and also to give cameras to the Sherpa people and say, hey, what do you see when you're up there?
You know what Ayers Rock is?
Yeah,
You
of course.
I
Of
climbed Ayers Rock in Australia before they shut it down. I
course.
was 10 minutes from the top before I popped my calf muscle. And then I had to slide all the way down. It was either that or wait for somebody to airlift me up out of there.
Wow. Hats off to you, and I hope the calf is
Oh,
recovered.
it was never the same because that the calf muscle is such a large muscle that when I popped it, I was able to rehab it back to some semblance. But I was a dancer, so I could never really go fully up on releve again like I could before I popped it. Like I can go up on releve, but I can't stay up there for very long.
Pulled my knee up this February, and I'm like, I'm never going to be the same. Yeah,
So
yeah.
you already know.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
girl,
right.
we can sit here and we could give war stories about our knees and hips and calves all day long. But I enjoyed this conversation with you, and I really enjoyed the film. It swelled my heart. You know how in the Grinch Who Stole Christmas, it talks about how his heart swelled 10 times or something to that effect. That's what my heart felt like after I watched this. So thank you.
No, thank Lakpa. I mean, we're just doing it for her, right? It's sort of her world, and I just get to
Yeah,
be.
but you captured it. And if you hadn't captured it the way that you had, I wouldn't have the feeling that I have. You're right. I was very inspired and moved by her life and her story and her words and her presence. But you had to capture that in order for me to feel that way.
And you had to feel that way, I think, in order for her to want to do what she did. And my job was just to connect you with her. You know what I mean? That's what
Girl,
was.
just say thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks, Lucy.
Cool. What a joy. Thanks.